Welcome back to our channel for another deep dive into the riveting drama of Fairmont Crest. Today is a spectacular day to unpack the latest shocking twists and unexpected romantic developments that are about to completely alter the landscape of our favorite daytime series. Let us jump right into the heart of the scandal and explore the shifting dynamics that have everyone talking. As we analyze the Beyond the Gates clip detailing the upcoming episodes, we must formulate short, thought-provoking questions to pique curiosity. Who is lying? What secret is about to be revealed? Which character might betray their loved one in the next episode? The answers to these burning inquiries seem to lie in a totally unexpected and potentially explosive new pairing that is about to rock the very foundation of the show. The latest developments suggest that Leslie Thomas and Dr. Carlton Fitzgerald might shock fans with an unforeseen romance, a narrative pivot that promises to send massive shockwaves through the interconnected lives of everyone in their immediate circle. This is not merely a passing flirtation, it is a fundamental realignment of the romantic chessboard that will force several characters to confront their deepest insecurities and hidden desires. Currently, Leslie Thomas finds herself romantically entangled with the steadfast and dedicated detective Marcel Malone. On paper, Marcel represents the stability, security, and unwavering devotion that anyone looking for a solid foundation would crave. He is a man of the law, grounded and reliable, offering a safe harbor from the emotional storms that have previously categorized Leslie's life. However, beneath the surface of this seemingly tranquil relationship lies a turbulent ocean of unresolved emotions and lingering attachments. Leslie is experiencing a profound, almost paralyzing difficulty in fully committing her heart and soul to the police officer. She maintains a palpable emotional distance, a protective barrier that prevents their blossoming connection from reaching its true potential. This hesitation is not born out of a lack of affection for Marcel, but rather an internal blockade that she has yet to dismantle. The root of this emotional paralysis has not gone unnoticed by those closest to her. Leslie's highly perceptive daughter, Eva Thomas, has been observing her mother's internal struggle with a keen and analytical eye. Eva firmly believes that the invisible wall standing between Leslie and Marcel is constructed entirely from the unresolved remnants of Leslie's past. Specifically, Eva is convinced that her mother has not been able to move on from Ted Richardson. This observation from a daughter who knows her mother's heart better than anyone is incredibly telling, and according to the narrative breadcrumbs we have been given, Eva's assessment is not entirely wrong. The ghost of Ted Richardson continues to haunt Leslie's subconscious, anchoring her to a past relationship that was as passionate as it was ultimately destructive. Ted Richardson is a man defined by his blinding jealousy, aggressive possessiveness, and an absolute inability to control his volatile temper. His toxic shadow looms large over Leslie's current attempts at happiness. The question that must be asked is whether Leslie's inability to commit to Marcel is a temporary symptom of her lingering grief over Ted, or if it is a permanent condition that will ultimately doom her relationship with the detective. Is she using Marcel as an emotional life raft to stay afloat in the wake of her breakup with Ted, or is she genuinely trying to build a new life? The psychological weight of Ted's memory is a heavy burden, and it is precisely this vulnerability that makes the impending introduction of Dr. Carlton Fitzgerald into her romantic orbit so incredibly fascinating and dangerous. On the other side of this impending collision is Dr. Carlton Fitzgerald, a man who is currently navigating his own complex emotional aftermath. Carlton is presently single following a highly dramatic and emotionally taxing split from Nicole Dupree. Carlton is a man of immense pride and self-respect. When Nicole was caught in an agonizing emotional purgatory, torn between Carlton and Kyle, Carlton made the definitive and empowering choice to walk away. He adamantly refused to be treated as a backup plan or a secondary option in Nicole's chaotic love life. This decision, while necessary for his own dignity, has left him emotionally bruised and navigating the single life with a newfound sense of independence and vulnerability. The stage is perfectly set for a monumental shift in the narrative. Official teasers for the Beyond the Gates episode airing on Wednesday, August 26, reveal that Dr. Carlton Fitzgerald will experience a completely unexpected encounter. The speculation is running rampant. Could this surprise meeting be with none other than Leslie Thomas? And, more importantly, could this be an encounter that transcends their previous, strictly platonic or peripheral interactions? Fans are eagerly anticipating the possibility that this meeting will not be a negative clash, but rather the spark that ignites a blazing new storyline. The sheer unpredictability of this potential pairing is what makes it so utterly captivating for the audience. While BTG viewers might initially expect the two to engage in witty, perhaps slightly guarded banter, the underlying chemistry cannot be ignored. Leslie has undoubtedly had a fair amount of exposure to Carlton during the period when he was actively dating Nicole. They have existed in the same social circles, observing each other from a distance, perhaps forming silent opinions and unspoken attractions. Now that both are unencumbered by those specific past commitments, with Carlton entirely free and Leslie emotionally adrift, despite her relationship with Marcel, things could heat up exponentially. The transition from peripheral acquaintances to passionate lovers is a classic daytime drama trope, and Leslie and Carlton have all the necessary ingredients to make this transition spectacular. The burning question on everyone's mind is whether Leslie and Carlton will develop genuine romantic feelings and begin actively flirting with one another. Could this unexpected encounter on August 26 be the catalyst that leads to a passionate, fiery relationship? The psychological shift required for both characters to embrace this new dynamic would be immense. Leslie would have to finally let go of the safety net that Marcel provides and take a leap of faith with a man who is intimately connected to her complicated past. Carlton, meanwhile, would have to open his heart again after being so recently burned by Nicole's indecision. The vulnerability required from both parties would create a deeply compelling and emotionally resonant viewing experience. However, a romance between Leslie and Carlton would be incredibly interesting and highly explosive on multiple different fronts. The most massive and immediate complication is the undeniable fact that Carlton is a longtime close friend of Ted Richardson. The history between these two men is thick with loyalty, betrayal, and recent reconciliation. Carlton and Ted have only just managed to repair their fractured friendship following Carlton's illicit affair with Nicole, who happens to be another of Ted's ex-lovers and the mother of his child. The fact that Carlton previously crossed a massive boundary by sleeping with the mother of Ted's child already strained their bond to the absolute breaking point. Given this incredibly fragile recent reconciliation, one must ask, how would Ted react if Carlton now started dating Leslie, the very woman Ted still seemingly views as his own? Ted's history of extreme, blinding jealousy is well documented. We already witnessed Ted's jealousy erupt into a furious, public physical altercation with Carlton on August 19, after catching Carlton and Nicole in a private moment. If Ted was willing to resort to physical violence over Nicole, his reaction to Carlton pursuing Leslie would likely be catastrophic. The betrayal Ted would feel would be absolute and unforgivable. Carlton would be breaking the ultimate unspoken code of friendship, not once, but twice, by pursuing another woman deeply connected to Ted's heart. Furthermore, there is the undeniable psychological pattern at play regarding Leslie's choices. If Leslie were to pursue Carlton, she would actively be going after yet another one of Nicole Dupree's former men. This unspoken, perhaps subconscious rivalry between Leslie and Nicole adds a fascinating layer of complexity to the narrative. Is Leslie genuinely drawn to Carlton, or is there a hidden competitive drive to claim the men who have previously been entangled with Nicole? This dynamic forces the audience to question the true motivations behind Leslie's actions and whether she is inadvertently repeating destructive cycles. The show's writers are brilliantly setting up a scenario where past grievances and current desires collide in the most dramatic fashion imaginable. Meanwhile, Nicole herself is currently trapped in a deeply toxic dynamic and facing a severe, imminent, and explosive confrontation with Ted. The corrosive residue of Ted's uncontrollable temper and aggressive possessiveness is actively poisoning their relationship. If Nicole were to witness Carlton, the man who walked away from her with his dignity intact, happily moving on with Leslie, it could trigger a massive wave of regret and jealousy. Nicole might realize the immense value of the stable, respectful love she lost with Carlton, contrasting sharply with the suffocating reality of her life with Ted. This realization could push Nicole to take drastic actions, further complicating the already tangled web of relationships in Fairmont Crest. Despite the monumental drama that would inevitably ensue, there is a strong argument to be made that Carlton is actually the perfect fit for Leslie. Carlton is highly intelligent, genuinely kind, and a respected medical professional. He represents a level of maturity, stability, and intellectual stimulation that might be exactly what Leslie needs to break free from the chaotic, emotionally draining patterns of her past with Ted. Carlton could be the man who aligns perfectly with the positive, forward-thinking direction Leslie wants to take in her life. He offers a stark contrast to the aggressive volatility of Ted, and perhaps a more passionate, intellectually equal partnership than what she currently shares with the steadfast detective Marcel Malone. Yet, a significant hurdle remains. Can Leslie easily and seamlessly integrate into Carlton's high-stakes, demanding world? Being partnered with a dedicated physician comes with its own unique set of challenges, including long hours, immense stress, and societal scrutiny. Leslie would have to adapt to a lifestyle that is vastly different from what she is accustomed to. The personal and societal adjustments required for this pairing to survive would test the true strength of their bond. Will the residents of Fairmont Crest accept this unexpected union, or will the ghosts of their interconnected pasts constantly threaten to tear them apart? The societal pressure, combined with the inevitable backlash from Ted and Marcel, will create a crucible that will either forge their love into something unbreakable or shatter it completely. Finally, we must return to the tragic figure of Detective Marcel Malone. If Leslie fully surrenders to the undeniable pull of Dr. Carlton Fitzgerald, Marcel will be left completely devastated. The betrayal he will experience, realizing that he was merely a placeholder while Leslie sorted through her lingering feelings for Ted, only to be discarded for Carlton, will be profound. This brings us back to our initial, thought-provoking questions. Which character might betray their loved one in the next episode? It appears highly likely that Leslie is on the precipice of betraying Marcel's steadfast trust. As the secrets of her true desires are revealed, and the lies she has been telling herself are stripped away, the fallout will be monumental. The August 26 episode promises to be a masterclass in daytime drama, setting the stage for a romantic revolution that will leave no character unscathed.